people should know a little more about para athletes. People should, probably have that confidence in us as well. And we have proved our mettle at the international stage. It's just about time where people start recognizing us even more.
For someone born with spina bifida and hence was paralyzed from the waist down, Niranjan Mukundan is now training to compete in the Tokyo Paralympics as a para swimmer. At the 2015 International Wheelchair and Amputee Sports World Junior Games, he won a medal for all 10 events he competed in and became the junior world champion. He also received the National Award for Best Para Sportsperson that very year and Karnataka's Eklavya Award for Outstanding Performance in Sports in 2016. Listen to Niranjan's journey that exemplifies his mental fortitude and the sacrifices made by him and his family to get him to where he is now. So, how have you been during this lockdown?
I mean, initially it was like, I just thought it's going to be for a few days, but as the pandemic started rising and our country's cases also started going up, I was like driven insane. I'm someone who's always hyperactive, and me being at one place for like 6-7 months is like, it was difficult, but there were a lot of takeaways. I got some time to spend with my family, which I haven't got in these years lately because of my swimming and them working and work schedules and my training schedules. But yeah, it's been fun all these while. Though I miss the pool, I miss my training.
Yeah.
It's what it is, and we have all gone through it, and we've all like slowly started to open up now and getting back to that normal life now.
Yeah, now the news is out that the swimming pools have opened, so you must be like quite happy about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it took us a lot of time because there were a lot of things to be considered here. People actually thought that swimming was more of like a recreational sport. They didn't see it as a competitive one, and then swimmers like us who've been training for the Olympics, Paralympics, it was a very hard hit for us, and we were not able to travel outside because of the travel restrictions that we have. That's even now. So it's been like 7 months. Very happy now. Probably in the next 2 weeks I'll be in the water. So that's one happy news of all this pandemic and everything that's going around us.
That's true, yeah. But I'm sure you must be having that little bit of worry also, though the pools have opened up, there's always that risk of infection, how clean it is and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, see, when you look at it in that way, WHO had even told that it's minimalistic in the water that the virus spreads because you have a lot of chlorines and chemicals that the virus could spread in the water. But also looking at the guidelines that the government has released now, it's just for the elite athletes and for the athletes who are like training for major events. So in that way, again, it's not for everyone. So I don't see any harm as of now to get back into the pool.
Okay, that's good. I wish there was more news about para athletes and what you've achieved, which is so incredible. And when I got in touch with you, it was by chance that I came across what you had done. And at first it was interesting, and then I started reading up on you. Okay, he's someone definitely I would like to sit down and chat with. I know you were born with a condition of spina bifida.
Yeah.
And what was your earliest memory of being born with that condition?
Yeah, as I said, I was born with this medical condition called spina bifida, and at that time, I remember my mom telling me, like, when I was 9 months old, I was operated. When I was like probably 1.5 years old, I was operated. I've had like a long list of surgeries. I've had like 19 surgeries since birth. So I did realize it when I started going to school. I did realize it when I used to see other kids play around and me just sitting at one place the whole day. But that didn't deter me from being what I am today. I mean, I did see it little differently, but I never considered myself as a disabled. I considered myself as a differently abled. I thought
Yeah.
I could do something that you could do in a little different way. And I think that set of mind and that positive takeaway from what I've seen throughout these years has made me what I am today.
That's great. But 19 surgeries, I can't imagine what it must have been like for you to go through so many surgeries.
Yeah, I mean, see, when I was born with this condition, not many people knew what it was. When we approached a lot of doctors, they were still under an assumption that it could have been this or it could have been that. So there were a lot of corrective surgeries done. There was a surgery on my spine which was done, which almost lasted for like 16 hours.
Wow.
And there was one corrective surgery on both my legs, which again lasted for around 12 to 13 hours. So those are like the most of the best memories that I have from my childhood. But it's made me a stronger person. It's made me what I am today. It's made me realize that nothing is impossible. It's made me realize that if you can do it, I can also do it. Given any challenge, given any task, given anything that you say that I'll not be able to do it, the only thing that I've done it is I've done it and shown people wrong.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful attitude. Yeah. Would you say you were born with that attitude or was it from your parents?
I guess I was born with that attitude, and that was like an extra layer for my parents who didn't hear about the society, or who didn't hear about anybody else who spoke, who thought that who showed that sympathy and only sympathy on me, or probably thought that I would just be another mediocre child who would probably didn't have a life outside my house, or probably didn't have a life probably something lesser than a normal child could have. So my parents
Right.
always thought out of the box. My parents always encouraged me to anything that I asked for, and that's made me a better person. That's also in a way kept me grounded, as well as it's made me what I am today.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, hats off to your parents. I can't imagine the sacrifices they must have gone through.
Yeah, that's been immense, and like the support that I've got from home is like the best support. Like I still remember, my parents could have just decided and just enrolled me into a school. They could have just made me finish my graduation, probably uh, worked on getting me a job, and I could have just had that life. But then they took that risk. They thought somewhere that there could be some avenues that could have opened up in the future, and which did.
Yeah.
And maybe sport was my cup of tea, and they were like a pillar of support. I remember my mom waking up at like 4:30 in the morning, preparing breakfast for me. My dad driving me from my house to the training place, staying there and bringing me back. And by the time I come back home, everything else is ready for school. Get ready for school again, take me to school, put me in the class. It's a big toll that I've taken, but only a small gratitude and a small payback that I could give back is by winning medals and seeing that smile on the face.
Yeah. They must have been like the most proud parents, I'm sure.
They're like too proud, but then I feel it's too less. I mean, what I give back is like way too less for the sacrifices that they have done. There is nothing.
In fact, I read that they were very particular that you shouldn't use a wheelchair. So they carried you around until you were 5 years old.
Yeah, like literally paralyzed. And my mom who said, I'm not putting you on a wheelchair at any cost, and my dad said, whatever it takes, I'm carrying you. And that's been the support, and their only vision at that time was to make me stand up. Like I was not able to stand, so their only dream and goal was to make me stand up. And
Yeah.
being a small kid, I had this craze towards having different kinds and different colors of shoes, wherein I was not even able to walk. Uh, I still remember I probably had like 15, 20 pairs of shoes when I was not even able to wear them and walk, or even let alone stand. So that's been like the kind of support that I've had, and that's something that, that's kept me motivated. That's something that I know that, even if the world feels that I'm not able to do it, my parents feel that I will be able to do it. So that's something that's always in me. That's something that keeps echoing me wherever I go.
That's so sweet of them to encourage you that way.
Yeah.
I know swimming started for you as a therapy for the condition. Um,
Yeah.
do you remember what was like when you first tried it, when you first got into the pool?
I mean, when I look back, it was an option between horse riding and swimming. The doctors either suggested me to take up horse riding or swimming, and me being a small kid, I was like too scared looking at that the big figure of a horse. So I said, why don't I just tap my hands in the water? And that's how water found me. That's how I say it. And where kids usually take like 15-20 days or a month to learn, I learned it in like 10 days.
Wow.
So one of the coaches there spotted me and said, this kid has a lot more potential than for aquatherapy. He said we should introduce him to competitive sports. There is something called para sports. It was not that reachable at that time. People didn't know much about para sports. I'm talking way back in like 2000s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
So it was like, it was probably like a shock to all of us. We didn't know how to react, but my parents did think that I had that potential, and they took that risk at that time, which is paying off now.
Okay. And the coach who saw your potential was John Christopher, right?
Yeah, that's right. So I met John sir in 2002, 2003. It goes way back, probably 17 years down the lane, and even today when I go train with him, when I get those exercises done, it gives me so much of goosebumps, because when nobody had that confidence in me that I could do something, he was the one who said, "No, I believe in you," and he's kept up to his word. I remember him talking to my parents, and he said, "I will turn Niranjan into an international champion." 15 years before, and now I'm glad and proud that I'm still with John sir, and I owe him a lot.
Yeah, I know. That must be an amazing partnership for you to have someone like that believe in you from the beginning.
Absolutely.
But your first competition didn't go so well, did it?
Yeah. So, my first competition, I was very excited, and as all kids looking at the medals and stuff, I got into the pool. I trained. I thought that I trained, and I went to the competition. I touched the wall and I turned back. There was nobody behind me. I realized that I was so slow that everybody else had finished the competition and gone back home. So that put me down at that time. It made me a better person. It made me realize that swimming is more than just for aquatherapy. And that's how, I accidentally found out that I am a competitive swimmer and not a recreational swimmer.
But your next competition, which was held in Calcutta, the story was completely different. You actually won it.
So I think the second competition, like as every other kid and a small kid is, I was all very excited, and couldn't keep that calm and composure, whether you win or lose. The same thing happened. I dived in, I touched the wall, I see everyone behind me, and then I realized that I won that race. So that to my national career.
Yeah. So which year was this in when you got noticed in the national level?
I think it was 2004, 2005.
Okay.
2003, I was introducing to swimming. So 1 year down the lane, I was at the national level, swimming for Karnataka and Bangalore.
Okay. Did it feel like too soon for you? Did you like, balk at the idea of okay, suddenly I'm on the national stage?
It was a different kind of a feeling at that time, being probably like 6, 7 year, 8 year old kid. I didn't know what winning was, but
Yeah.
but it gave me a lot of happiness. Somebody clapping for you, your parents are happy. There is a medal around your neck. That gave you so much of happiness. That gives you so much of inner confidence. That gives you so much of motivation. And yeah, I mean, I somehow thought that this was the right sport for me. though it was like, so tiresome and so energy consuming. But somehow I thought I belonged to water. I kind of felt like an amphibian at that time.
And you soon went on, like, by 2014, you won like 8 medals at the International Wheelchair and Amputee sports.
Yeah.
And in 2015, I would say was your year of reckoning. Would you consider it as that?
Yeah, that is kind of like my breakthrough year, I would say, at that time in my juniors.
Yeah. You won 10 medals.
Yes. So that was like a milestone and a breakthrough year for me as well. I remember that being my last year at the junior level because my age bar was happening in the next year, and I was not able to compete at the junior level at all. So me, my coach, my team wanted me at the junior level, and neither did I know that I'm going to win 10 medals there. I was just going with the flow. And at the end of 3 days, I was crowned as the junior world champion at that time.
That's wonderful. Did you ever foresee that you'll win all 10 medals?
We didn't go there to win all 10 medals. So me and my coach, when we knew that we were going for this competition, it was just to give the best shot. And my coach always said me this: I want you to finish on a high note. He said, I'm never going to see you at the junior level ever in your life. So nobody wants to see you, and nobody will be able to see you at the junior level. So he said, when you get out of that combination, I want everyone to see you and say that he's done a great job. And when I started day one, day two, it was probably like 3-on-3, 6-on-6, and then I still remember a lot of fatigue was hitting me. I couldn't finish winning the gold medals in a couple of events, but then when I was talking to my coach, he said, "Let's not give up. We still have events coming up." So the end of the World Games, I had like 10 medals out of the 10 events that I took part in, which itself was a record. And
Yeah.
getting the title and the crown as junior world champion was just like an icing of the cake.
That's great. And was it at this event that a coach from another country was actually striking off your name?
Yeah, so this again happened at the same event where he thought probably Indians weren't that capable enough to
Yeah.
swim at the world stage there, and started striking off my name from his competitors' list, just giving moral boost to his swimmer, saying that it's one competitor less for you in the race. But then I remember him coming and hugging me at the end of the race and said, I made a mistake of doing that. I should have probably stricken off my swimmer's name in your list. So these are such moments that sometimes we live for, even more than winning medals. These are little happy moments that we live for, and coming from
Yeah.
uh, such big countries, coaches, such big names, it's something that that I'll cherish for a very very long time.
Yeah. But I know that, yes, you've been winning all these medals, but between all these games that you were winning, you were having repeat injuries. There was a cycle of, injury and recover.
Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit about that? What was that? I mean, I'm sure it wouldn't have been easy at all to, sit out from a game when you had an injury.
I mean, it's very tough when you're representing your country at the highest level. There's a lot of pressure on you. There's a lot of responsibility in
Yeah.
you. But when I go back, I started representing India since 2012. I've been representing India. I started representing in 2012, 2013, that period. And I still remember 2014 Commonwealth Games when I qualified. I was the most happiest person. But then just few days before the games, I had an injury, and I was not allowed to fly. So that put me down, and I had to undergo another surgery for that.
Okay.
3 months I was admitted. I was not able to get into the pool. And we had the Asian Games coming up in the same year. So I had very less time, but thankfully I had a great team. I had a great coach. I had the best experts around me who were working with me. Even when I went to Asian Games again, my misfortune, I again fell ill 2 days before the event. That's because again of my medical condition.
Yeah.
Uh, Everybody wanted me to fly back because my condition was getting bad every day. But it was me and my coach who said we should probably get you treated there itself. And I remember I had an event on the last day of Asian Games and I was able to win a bronze medal for the country. So that is again something that I would cherish. And injuries have been part of my life. I mean, it's part of every athlete's life, but for me, it's more
Yeah.
because given my condition and given my birth defect. But they've always kept me grounded, and they've always told to be strong mentally, and that's always there in my mind. Though I'm physically a little challenged, I'm mentally very strong enough.
Yeah.
So you put me out of the pool for like 3 months, 4 months. I start visualizing races. I make myself ready mentally, so that once I am back in the pool, I know what I'm doing.
That's a great mindset. I mean, but how do you find that in you to keep yourself motivated, when okay, others are training, I'm not able to train. Usually it demotivates a person.
It's definitely a setback. It's definitely demotivating you, but you also got to understand that health comes first. I mean, I initially did understand that. I always thought that swimming is first. I got to give my best shot. But I off lately realized over the years that if I am not well, if I am not able to give my 100%, it is because of something that's physically bothering me. It could be an injury, it could be a defect that's been I because of the birth defect that I've had. All I've realized is to take one step at a time, the best for the country.
Okay. Could you talk a little bit about kind of difficulties or injuries you're facing because of the condition?
So basically, I have very less sensation power on both my legs, for which I get these neurotrophic ulcers, the ulcers and the pressure points on the foot, which usually stand for like couple of years or more than a year because I have no sensation of where I'm standing, how I'm walking.
Okay.
But then I started wearing some supports and prosthetics that helps me and that gives me a measure of where my foot lands and how it is for me to walk straight. I had been suffering these ulcers for the past like 6 7 years. I was operated in 2018. That is again during the Asian Games. I was flown back to India. I was operated here,
Okay.
and from then I've been free from ulcers. I don't have any such problem as of now.
Okay.
So those are little things that worries me because ulcers become open wounds and they become open sores, and because of which I will not be able to get into the pool. And because of the sensation problem and the blood supply being very less in my lower limbs, the healing process takes a lot of time, which is again an issue, which puts me out of water, and that's the issue that I was facing for a very long time. The major one that I had was once the ulcer had infected my bone, and the first layer of the bone in one of the foots had to be scraped off.
Oh God.
So it's been a tough journey, but I'm glad that I could withstand it and still be here.
I mean, really hats off. um, with so many surgeries, and especially being a parathlete, you might need a little more, maybe resources. How has it been financially for you and your family to withstand? How's the support been? You think there's more exposure now for parathletes to get more support and encouragement, whether it's from the government or corporates?
I mean, see, when I started, it was initially difficult because I come from a moderate family. I come from a very conservative family.
Okay.
But, because of my given condition, my parents always wanted to cushion me, so they never said no. So in that way, even though we were finding it a little difficult initially, I was able to pass that hurdle. And there was not much of an education or knowledge about para sports at that time. So
Yeah.
to prove people that we are competing parallelly at the Olympics, and we have equal competition or probably more competition than the able body was the first challenge. And I think over the years, I feel that there has been some knowledge to press upon a right channel where people and government are trying to recognize us
Okay.
and trying to treat us in par with the other athletes. But yeah, I mean, I would definitely be happy if a lot more corporates come forward and also invest in the para athletes, because been doing immensely well. When even matter of fact that people should know a little more about para athletes. People should probably have that confidence in us as well. And we have proved our metal at the international stage. It's just about time where people start recognizing us even more.
Yeah, I know it's high time.
Yeah.
When did you realize, okay, you're starting to get recognized? I know you won the national award in 2015, and
Yeah.
but when did people start noticing you?
So I think in one of the IWAS games in 2013, I won 4 medals, and that's when an NGO called Go Sports Foundation spotted me, and they started supporting me with some good access to expertise. I just got into the Indian team, so
Okay.
I didn't know much about fitness, nutrition, and physios, keeping yourself fit during off peak season and all that stuff. So that is when I got noticed. And 2015, 14, 16, these 3 years have been like milestone in their own ways. 15, I was conferred with the national award, which was a big
Yeah.
surprise for me. But yeah, that was again a milestone year because of the 10 medals that I won at the World Games. 2016, I was again recognized by the state by conferring with the highest state's civilian award, Karnataka Rajyotsava Award, as well as the state's highest civilian sports award, the Eklavya Award. So these two have been again very close to my heart. And 2019 again was again another surprise when I was named in the Forbes 30
Yeah.
under 30, which came as a big surprise. Me being in the Asian list.
Uh, Having won all these accolades and all these honors, and rewinding back to a couple of years ago when no one around you believed you except for your parents, how's that shift been? The external shift for you.
See, it gives me that happiness. I've seen people who, probably 10 years, 11 years down the lane, who've come and told my parents that you should just put him in a special school, probably get him a job, or make him sit at home. And I've seen the same people 10 years down the lane calling up my parents and saying, "Hey, I saw your son's interview in the newspaper. I saw him talk on the TV channels. He's doing great. He's all over the news." So it gives me that happiness, and
Yeah.
seeing that smile on my parents' face is something that I live for. No medal is gonna give me so much of happiness than seeing my parents smile. So those are like tiny bits of moments that I live for. And I think that is like a big accomplishment for me than winning medals and those gold medals. Of course, that gives me a lot of greed of winning more and more medals. But yeah, coming back home and seeing that smile on my parents' face, my family's face, or my sister's face, that gives me a lot of happiness.
That's wonderful. There is still this, notion that differently able people don't get to live full, rich lives, and you, of course, are like prime example of that's not the case. But what do you say? There's a common in society. It's like that's how it's looked upon with differently able people. What would you like to say about that?
I mean, it's just the mindset of the people. I mean, see, it's how narrow-minded you are. I mean, you don't live for others. I mean, I used to think that there's a lot of external pressure on me. I used to always feel that what are these people gonna think about me? What is the society gonna think about me? But then once I stopped realizing that I got to live for myself and stop living for what others are thinking about me. That's when I realized that life is much bigger. When people say that you can't do it, I do it and show. So I mean, it's just that mindset that is probably shifting towards the right side, I feel.
Okay.
But as you said, yeah, there is that disparity in people's mind, where people say that probably the smallest of the smallest disability also people put you down by saying that you're not capable of doing it, or you probably can't do it. It's probably that mindset that people should change, or are on the verge of changing it.
Yeah,
And people like me are just here to tell people that we are no less than anybody in this world.
I agree. Um, so when you started getting noticed and your training went up a notch, you in fact went started going to the Tanyapura Academy in Phuket.
Yes.
Yeah, could you tell me how different that was for you?
Yeah, I mean, for the past 4 years, I've been training in Thailand, Tanyapura. And this happened as part of high performance training stint in 2016, where I was given an opportunity to go train there for like 3 weeks. And one of the Olympic coaches there, so that's the Asia's hub for FINA training center. And there was a group of 23 people from 14, 15 different countries who were only on the goal of going to the Olympics. It was really initially tough, I would say, because I was the only para swimmer there.
Oh,
But the coach there was who I would call as a ruthless coach. So the first day when I went there, I was given the full set, the full workout as an able body would do. I mean, though he knew a little bit about me, my achievements and stuff, he said, "I don't care even if you are a world champion. I want you to be the best." So that's how it was, and it was tough for me to get adapted to it, but I had a great team. I had one of the best swim teams. I had one of the best racing partners. I had the best coach there. Um, I got adapted very quickly, and it's been 4 years with that team, and now it's like more than a team. It's been like a family. We get to know about lot more than swimming. We get to know about a lot of different cultures, people, swimmers from different countries.
yeah.
Uh, Everybody has a story there. Like I have a story about myself, and I had swimmates from Rwanda. I had swimmates from Maldives. I had swimmates from other different countries who had a very, very inspiring story. I mean, I was moved, and I was very fortunate enough to train with them, and yeah, it's been like more of like a family even now. 4 years down the lane, even now most of us have been separated. We have found our ways. Graduating schools, people training at different parts of the world. But that's kept us grounded, and we call it as a family now.
That's amazing. Yeah. And the coach there is Miguel Lopez, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. What was I found very interesting was it wasn't just swimming where you have this, mindset that I can do something. You were also trying to do the golden quadrilateral and you set a new record.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you tell a little bit about that?
This is again like a challenge that I had within my friend circle, who probably wanted to motivate me and see, because I was a lot into cars. I'm still into that, craze into having cars and driving cars and all that. So this is in 2017, where I had an injury where the doctor said I will not be able to get into the pool for the next 6 weeks or 8 weeks. I had one of my very close friends visit me from the US, and he said, if you have that confidence, I will be your navigator. Let's do this. We did a research on how this works and how this rally works and how do we report and what's going to happen. We contacted people. We asked if this is going to be valid and how it's gonna happen and all that. And we just set out on the Golden Quadrilateral expedition, where I had a time to beat. So
Yeah.
there was an existing national record which was set probably 5 years before. And I had a time to beat. I had one human navigator with me for the entire 5 days, and when we finished it, it was so much fun. I mean, every day we had a reason to give up. Every day, probably the weather didn't support us, the roads didn't support us. Probably we were lagging behind time. I was having that fatigue and everything. But then once I finished, I had, I think, 6 to 8 hours of spare time, and I broke the national record in that as well.
That's amazing. So you have those different activities that you like doing on the side. I think you even hiked up a mountain.
Yeah, so I am an adrenal junkie. So you just can't put me at one place, be it swimming or anything else. You give me like a month of off peak time, so you will see me hiking somewhere. You will see me doing all those adrenal junk stuff. The last thing that I did was before the lockdown was chasing the northern lights in Norway, which was another mesmerizing and a lifetime experience that I felt. Yeah, staying in like, minus 15, 16 degrees. And, I also had an added advantage because I don't have sensation below my knee. So the cold didn't affect me much below the knee. So that was like a
Okay.
gifted disguise advantage that I had. But that was something mesmerizing. That was brilliant. I mean, again, I thought I couldn't hike up so much to see that, but then I made up my mind that I would do it. It is something that probably I wouldn't do it often. So I hiked up, and I chased the northern lights, which was brilliant.
Yeah, I've been wanting to see the northern lights myself, so I can imagine how amazing it must have been.
Right.
So while growing up, you had people that you looked up to, your heroes, and one of them was Rahul Dravid.
Yeah.
And through Go Sports, you had a chance to meet him. Uh,
Hmm.
do you have like any interesting anecdote to share about meeting the wall?
I've been a fan of him ever since I don't know when. So I've like grown up. I've like watched him play, and then I've grown up. So cricket is something that's always been a part of me. Like I've been a big cricket buff. Whenever I find time, and whenever I'm in Bangalore, if there's a match going on in Bangalore, you will definitely see me in the cricket ground. And Rahul Dravid has been that special person in my life. And as you said, he was one of the managing trustees in Go Sports Foundation. He was one of
Yeah.
the main key players there. So I remember the first time when I met him, I was like out of words. I couldn't even speak, and I've met him a lot of times, but I still can't openly talk to him. It's like that awe moment. Like I don't know, probably I've met him like 10 times over the last 4 years. Every time I've met him, it's just he talking to me, and me just looking at him. I'm like, oh, that's it. I mean, I don't know why it is, but it's always been that. It's always been that. I mean, we've seen him play, we've seen him mentor the cricketers, but he's also mentored a lot of other athletes, including a lot of us from Go Sports as well. So
Yeah.
so it's been like a great partnership, and I still can't figure out what's wrong with me when I am with him, when I see him or when I see him live. It's just that I'm awestruck, and even now when I meet him, I'm just awestruck.
Roughly how many times you would have met him by now?
I know, probably like 8 to 10 times.
Okay. So it's still you get tongue tied.
Yes, yes, yes. I just can't. I don't know what happens to me at that time. I don't know. I just haven't figured out what's wrong with me at that point of time. I mean, he's been a gentleman on and off field, and I've like grown up watching him play on and off field, and I always wanted me to be how calm and composed he is. I always wanted me to be like that. So I've always grown up watching him play on and off field. So that's something that I always cherish when I talk to him.
Yeah. I know you missed the Tokyo Olympics that was supposed to happen. You missed the qualification for it, I think by 0.10 microseconds.
Yeah.
What was that like? I mean, I'm sure it must couldn't have been easy.
I mean, I don't know what just happened. when I looked at the replay, I saw the commentator falling from his seat. That was one of the moments that happened when he was commentating. He said Niranjan is going to make it within the qualifying time, and when you blink, it's just like 0.10 seconds. It's so much. The
Yeah.
time was just so much, and I won a gold medal in that event. But standing on the podium, I couldn't receive the gold medal. There were photos on social media which showed where I was crying even after winning the gold medal. Not many people immediately realized what happened, but then once they got to know that I missed the Tokyo A cut by 0.11 microseconds, it was such a mixed feeling. I mean, I really didn't want to receive the gold medal, but I was obligated to receive it. But yeah, the sport is how it is, and it's ruthless. Microseconds can decide your fate.
Yeah.
When I clocked the B qualifying time for Tokyo Paralympics, I remember it took like 6 months for me to shave off those seconds and come to the B cut. And from the B cut to A cut, it took me another 4 to 5 months, and missing it out so narrowly. I mean, we have had some close races, but this is something probably that I will keep thinking about.
Do you keep running across what you could have done better, or you just let it go?
I mean, see, I'm someone who let out the emotion at that period of time. So probably I just don't want to let it out, but I just cried for a day or two, and then I'm back to normal again.
Okay. So, what are you, training for now? What is your immediate goal?
So absolutely, as the Paralympics has been postponed by a year and the qualifications also have been postponed by a good while now, my immediate target would be to qualify for the Paralympics next year. And keeping that in mind, we haven't trained for the last 7 to 8 months. So keeping fitness into account and staying fit when I get back to the pool in the next 2 weeks is going to be key.
Okay.
And also, being injury free is going to be the next important goal for me, at least till the Paralympics, because missing it out from these small margins, is also is giving me a little more confidence of how I could better it in the next event. But keeping the injuries in mind, I got to be a little careful, and taking
Yeah.
one step at a time has always been my goal. So probably getting back to shape in the water and then qualifying for the Paralympics is going to be the next immediate aim for me.
Could you give us an idea about what your typical day is at the moment? Because I know when I was talking to you over the phone,
Yeah.
you gave me a little glimpse of, I rush off in the morning and then afternoon only I'm back and then again I go. So could you give us an idea about that?
See, it was very difficult. My sleep schedule went for a toss. As I was not swimming, my routine changed. I probably started staying up late night, waking up late in the morning. But then I realized that this cannot last long, and I will have to get back to a fake schedule. At least, even if I'm not swimming, I got to wake up at that time and do something else apart from swimming. So again, I wake up at around 6, which is a little late because I used to wake up around 4:45, 5 in the morning when I had swimming. So 6, I wake up and I go for my strength and conditioning session, which lasts until like 10:30, 11, and then
Okay.
I have to come back home and then take a quick nap, and then again I head back in the evening, probably late afternoon by like 3:30, 4 o'clock, and then I'm back home like 6:30. That kind of kills my day. Like now, even though I'm faking the training that I'm not able to get into the pool, I am doing all other things that could strengthen me when I get back into the pool.
Okay. I know you studied sports management as well.
Yeah.
Um, do you have any specific plans for, maybe not the immediate future, but eventually?
Yeah. So I want to give back to the sport which has given me a life. I want to give back to a sport which has made me what I am today and which has made me recognizable in the public. So my ultimate aim is to help para sports people to achieve their dreams. Opening up an academy has been the thought that I've been having. It's not gonna be in the immediate future, but probably post retirement is when I'm planning of it. So I thought there were two things that was happening at home. My parents didn't want me to give up on studies, and I didn't want to study anything else apart from sports. So I merged both together, and I did my masters in sports management, which is gonna help me in the future as well.
That's wonderful. Thanks so much, Niranjan, for taking the time and being on the podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm glad I could be a part of it.
Hope you enjoyed this week's episode. You can reach me on Instagram at Maharani Talks and at Mahati Rangarajan on LinkedIn. Take care.